If you're visiting Hawaii in July, or if you're planning for it, or just thinking about it, just know this. It's beautiful, but it's not a quiet month. You probably already know this. Crowds are up, prices are high, and summer demand can change really the whole feel of your trip. So today, I'm going to give you the quick version of what to expect in Hawaii in July and how you can still have an incredible time in Hawaii. Aloha and welcome to Hawaii's Best. I'm Brian Murphy, Hawaii destination expert and your personal guide to planning an unforgettable trip to Hawaii. So today, talking all about Hawaii in July. July can actually be a really good month for Hawaii vacation, but it's not like a low-key, empty beach, cheap flight, cheap hotel kind of month. It's really peak season. I think that's the obvious. Kids are out of school. A lot of families are traveling. The 4th of July pushes demand even higher. And if you don't plan ahead, July can get even more expensive really quick. But that doesn't mean July is necessarily a bad time to visit Hawaii. Actually, weather-wise and beach days, July is really one of the most reliable months of the year. So the weather in July is pretty much what most people hope for or picture when they think about a Hawaii vacation. Basically, you're looking at daytime highs around the mid to upper 80s. The ocean is warm, relaxing, usually around 78 to 81 degrees. Rain is a lot lower of a chance on the leeward sides of the island. So places like Waikiki, Ko'olina, Kihei, Wailea, Kona, Poipu, those tend to be pretty dry during this time of year. And the relief really comes with the trade winds picking up. That breeze is a big reason July can feel warm, but still comfortable, especially near the coast. So if your trip is built around beach days, snorkeling, pool time, boat tours, and sunset dinners, all the things that maybe you're thinking about when you're planning your trip, July is a really, really strong month for these types of activities. However, there are a few things to watch out for. July is technically part of hurricane season in Hawaii, which runs from June through November-ish. However, direct hurricane impacts in Hawaii are really rare, but it's not something to just ignore. But keep your eye on the forecast, especially for boat tours, flights between islands, island hopping, or anything weather dependent. I actually did a news report about the hurricane season this year. Due to it being an El Nino year, officials are forecasting a higher chance of hurricanes in the area, but it's really rare. So I just bring that up just for you to be aware of and make sure that's on your radar. If you're swimming on Oahu South Shore, so, think Waikiki area, pay attention to box jellyfish alerts. They tend to show up about 8 to 10 days after a full moon. So we're approaching that. We just had a full moon and we're kind of approaching that in the next week or so. And in the show notes, I'm going to go ahead and link the box jellyfish calendar so you can see and just be aware. Also you'll see postings at the beach as well. So speaking of the beaches, July surf patterns, I think they matter a lot. The North Shore are usually a lot calmer in the summer, especially if you visit during the wintertime. It's almost this crazy juxtaposition of North Shore winter versus summer swells. And North Shore during the summertime is a great area you can go swimming in. And then the wintertime is just crazy gnarly. You don't want to get out there at all. But for the summer, this can be better for families and snorkeling. Think, Sharks Cove. South Shores can see a bit more of a swell. So check conditions before getting in. The saying that the lifeguards have is, when in doubt, don't go out. Heed to that as well. Not all the areas, not all the shores are going to be, super calm and glassy. So for crowds, if you're planning July, you probably already have a hunch that it's going to be busy. Oahu is one of the busiest. You got Waikiki, Pearl Harbor, Diamond Head, Lanikai, North Shore. All those places are great, but they get crowded fast. And talking about the North Shore, this summer, I'm going to post a link below. But if you're staying in Waikiki or in Ko'olina on Oahu, you can take a shuttle up to the North Shore. This is brand new. It's $5. And then what you do your thing at the North Shore, you support local businesses, you get a receipt, and then that gets you back on the bus back home. And this is something that they're trying out for the summer. and it runs till like September. I'll go ahead and drop that article below as well. Definitely, if you're staying in Waikiki and you're not, thinking about renting a car, this is a great way to get up to the North Shore, support local. But all the crowds and all that stuff, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go to Oahu or any of the other islands. Oahu is still a great island, especially for first timers. There's tons to do. The food scene is strong, from chain restaurants to amazing local restaurants. Highly recommend the local spots. And it's usually the easiest island for flights and hotels. It's still going to be the cheapest that you can find during the summertime. But if you're picturing quiet beaches and wide open parking lots, Oahu in July is probably not that version of Hawaii. Now, Kauai is usually a better pick if you want a, quote, kind of slower pace. It still gets a lot of visitors, of course, but compared to Oahu, the feel is a lot different. It's a little bit slower. And talking about the other neighboring islands, Maui and Hawaii Island, the Big Island, they fall kind of somewhere in the middle. Now, on Maui, resort areas like Wailea and Kaanapali will be busy. The road to Hana can get congested with rental cars. So if you're thinking about doing the road to Hana, if you've never driven the road to Hana before, maybe look into like a small local tour company to go ahead and do road to Hana for you instead of trying to navigate it with everybody else. On the Big Island, Hawaii Volcanoes National Park, it can draw extra interest, especially with everything that's happening with Kilauea the last couple of years. A quick report on that. Kilauea, it's been this ongoing eruption pattern since December of 2024. As of this recording, episode 50 ended on June 27th, and the eruption is currently paused. The USGS is forecasting that the next episode 51, could happen sometime in July, between July 7th and 14th. So if you're listening to this on July 3rd, the date of this release, and you're headed to the Big Island soon, check the latest updates from USGS and Hawaii Volcanoes National Park before you go. They're always good at keeping everything up to date there. But the national park remains open, but volcanic activity changes quickly. So viewing areas, air quality, parking, and crowd, and all that stuff can shift depending on what's happening with the lava. Now, one of the biggest questions is, budgeting. How expensive is it? July, it's expensive. It's one of the most expensive months, July and August. And flights are usually higher because of demand. Families are traveling and hotels are in peak summer pricing. And the week around, July 4th, is especially expensive. This is one of the biggest planning lessons for July. If you want July weather, but not the highest July prices, as best as you can, avoid the exact 4th of July window. The second half of July can sometimes be a little better, not cheaper, but it can be a little bit better as far as crowds and that type of stuff. But for hotels, Maui is usually the most expensive. Oahu is often the most affordable, at least when you're comparing average hotel rates. And then Kauai and the Big Island tend to sit somewhere in the middle of that. If you are traveling with family, which typically happens during summer months or a larger group, vacation rentals can help, especially if you want to use the kitchen for breakfasts, snacks, a few easy meals. This is what we do when we travel with our family. We have a kitchen and we do the whole, Costco run and that whole thing. But food costs adds up really fast in Hawaii. Eat in as much as you can, simple meals, find local spots that you can support. And also on top of all this, talking about costs, don't forget taxes and fees. The nightly rate that you might see on your room might not always be close to the final total. So if you're planning a future July trip, book early. I'd say at the minimum, if you're traveling from the continental US, 4 to 6 months out is a much better window than waiting until the very last minute. Now, because July in Hawaii is like peak season and summer's happening, it really has a lot of great events. So, of course, you have 4th of July celebrations across the islands. Think fireworks, parades, rodeos even, concerts, beach gatherings. All depends on where you are and what island you're staying on. Beyond the 4th, there are a few cultural events that I think are worth knowing. I want to put it in front of you. The International Ukulele Festival of Hawaii is happening on July 12th at Kapiolani Regional Park on Oahu. It's free. family friendly, great local musicians to connect with and just hear local music and really see and feel the vibe of the community. Also on the island of Oahu is the Prince Lot Hula Festival. It's on July 17th and 18th this year. And that's at the Royal Hawaiian Center right in the heart of Waikiki. This is a non-competitive hula festival, and it has a long history in Hawaii. Definitely worth checking out if you are in the Waikiki area during that time. And going over to Kauai, Koloa Plantation Days runs the second half of July. It's centered around Koloa and Poipu and includes community events, history, food, music, and parade, and all that good stuff. So you can check that out if you're on Kauai. So these are really the kind of things I want to encourage anyone who's visiting Hawaii. It's not just about the beach or the resort, but local events that help you better understand the place you're visiting. So if this is your first Hawaii trip and you want convenience, Oahu still makes sense. Start there. Just expect crowds and plan your days accordingly. Plan them earlier. If you want something a little bit more quieter beaches, a slower pace, I would look at Kauai as that option for you. And if you want volcanoes, big landscapes, manta rays, and more room to explore, I look at the Big Island. If you want a resort-style summer vacation with great beaches, restaurants, maybe this is the couple's getaway, Maui is still a great option, but it will likely cost even more in July. But no matter which island you choose, make your key reservations early. So that means rental car, lodging, luau's, Pearl Harbor, Diamond Head, Haena State Park, Waianapanapa on Maui, Haleakala, Sunrise, Maui, and any boat or snorkel tours that you care about, making sure you do. Basically, any keystone activity that you are wanting to do, take a minute, do a Google search for the official page for that thing, say Diamond Head or Pearl Harbor, and go ahead, make sure you know what the reservation requirements are and when to book and all that stuff. So July, or like any month in Hawaii, it's not a time that you can just show up and assume everything's going to be available and ready to go. So a quick recap. July in Hawaii is warm, dry, great for beach weather. It's also busy. It's expensive, especially around the 4th of July. Oahu can feel probably the most crowded out of the other islands, neighboring islands. Kauai will feel usually the quietest, and Maui and the Big Island sit somewhere kind of in the middle. I know that was a lot of info at once, and for the full breakdown, including more island-by-island details, key event dates, weather notes, and planning tips, you can go to hawaiisbesttravel.com/243, and that'll take you right to the complete blog post about Hawaii in July, and that's really the main resource for this episode. And if you're still trying to figure out whether July is the right month for your trip, you can go back and listen to the last episode, episode 242, linked below, about the best time to visit Hawaii. And that'll give you a much bigger picture month by month of what to expect. All right. So I hope you have a happy and safe 4th this weekend. And until next time, as always, live with aloha. Mahalo for listening to Hawaii's Best. If you found today's episode helpful, make sure to hit follow on your podcast app so you don't miss future episodes. You can find all links and resources mentioned today in the show notes below. Hawaii's Best is produced by Shorebreak Media Group, edited by Easy Podcast Solutions, and with music by our friends Stick Figure.